Dear Paul, congratulations on your retirement. I thought I would spend a little bit of time reminiscing on what knowing you has meant to me in my career. I'll never forget the class I had from you at the University of Michigan in 1973. Of course, it's the one that turned me on to health economics, and my life has never been the same since. I also remember running around the track at the University of Michigan with you discussing my dissertation. You were so busy, sometimes staying fit and talking about dissertation was the best efficient use of our collective time, I guess. And then, of course, I remember all the years since, all the friendships, all of the times visiting you in Irvine, participating in the conferences after you moved there from Ann Arbor. And what a splendid move it's been. Look at what you've done with the conference. You are the king of healthcare forecasting, and I salute you for that. More importantly, look at all of the graduate students that you've turned out. I wouldn't have been the same or as successful without you, and I'm sure everybody else who's typing something for you today will say the same thing. So to you, to Anna and the kids, don't slow down. Just pursue some passions, your sailing and other things once you retire. And stay in touch, and maybe you'll have a little more time to visit me now that I'm in California. Be well. Congratulations on an incredible career.
Hey, Paul. I wish I could be there to celebrate your retirement. Margaret asked me to do a little video. She asked if I could recount a funny story or an anecdote, and I've struggled. I can't think of anything that's very embarrassing for you. So I just kept coming back to thinking about the first time that we met when I was on the job market, and we were setting up an interview, and when you found out that I was going to be spending Christmas in California, you said, well, why don't you just come by campus and we can talk then? And so I came to your office and had a great conversation, and I was sort of amazed because I obviously knew your name and knew your work, and here you are, this big name health economist, and you were incredibly nice and funny, and I walked out of there and thought, well, this is the job that I want, and so I was thrilled when I was able to join you at GSM, and you were a great mentor and colleague, and so a big part of my career, and so I thank you for that, and congratulations, and I hope to get out there and see you before too long.
Paul, I understand you're retiring. I'm shocked. I thought you would be continuing on for at least another 40 or 50 years. That's part of the president's retirement plan, as I understand it. But, well, eventually, I guess we all have to move on to other more interesting things, and you're living in the right place for it. Congratulations. I'm going to reminisce a little bit about your health plan. The Responsible National Health Insurance Plan that you and several colleagues wrote back in about 20 years ago. Well, it took 20 years, and sure enough, well, we have health insurance, but it's not exactly national, and at least by my lights, it's not really responsible. So I'm going to blame you for that. Perhaps that's unfair, but best wishes, good luck, and see you soon.
I had several opportunities to interact with Paul. One, he was my boss as an adjunct faculty member. Two, we served on several boards together. And three, we became very close friends. It's really the last two that I would like to talk about. Paul and I were both on the boards of two fast-growing healthcare startups that went public and had a successful exit. As many of you know, healthcare is distorted by government participation, and it requires a lot of short-term tactical decisions. Paul's value really was taking the long view, the view towards quality, value to the patients, and above all, integrity in all of our actions. As a friend, Paul and I engaged in many wonderful discussions during long plane rides, lots of friendly lunches and dinners together to talk about public policy, world affairs, and they were always serious, intelligent, and thoughtful discussions. Paul's a gentle man, but he always says and does the most kindest things.
My name is Peter Bierhaus. I'm a professor here at Vanderbilt University, and I thought it was important to tell you all the real reason why Dr. Paul Feldstein left the University of Michigan and went to the University of California at Irvine. Now you're going to have to go back to the 80s and realize back then I didn't have all this white hair, it was a different color. But then I was just an emerging graduate student hoping to get my PhD in health economics and working as Paul's research assistant and exam grader. Well, we were doing well over a couple of years. I got exactly the right assignment and understood how to grade his exams, both midterms and finals. When we got to the final exams, what always happened is Paul would leave this big stack of blue books, and it was a big stack. He had 70 to 80, 90 students in his class. And he would take his family down to Sanibel Island in Florida and gave me a certain time which I was supposed to call him with the exam grades. He would take those grades, call the university, which had a very firm deadline, to report the grades. Now we'd done this for a couple of years, had the system down, all was going fine. So here it goes, sometime maybe 1984, 85, somewhere in there. We're moving forward. Paul goes down to sunny and warm Florida, leaving me in cold and cloudy Michigan. I take on the assignment. I work for days. I get these exams graded. I make that call one evening within hours of the deadline to give him the results. So we're moving along, and I'm giving the grades, and we're talking about this and talking about that. And I reached one student, and I said, Paul, this one has me a little bit mixed up. Objectively, I give this woman a B+. But there's something unusual about this one. Paul, I'm really smelling a lot of perfume on this paper. It's on every page. And objectively a B+, but subjectively, I think I want to push this up to an A. And he laughed and he said, oh, Peter, if you want to be a health economist, you must learn to go by the evidence and be objective and not to be influenced by other subjective elements such as perfume. And then he paused and he said, but why don't you hold that one out for me? I'll take a close look at it myself. Well, we laughed and we moved on, and 2 minutes later, I completely fell asleep, dead to the wall. The phone is in my hand, and I never heard him more than likely saying, Peter, wake up, we got to get this done. I remember waking up the next day and then calling him, and he wasn't irritated, he wasn't upset, he took it all in, but I know this. The university was very upset with Paul because he did not get his exams in on time. And I think they basically told him to hit the road, that was it, they weren't going to tolerate it, you're out of here. And that is why Paul then moved out to the University of California at Irvine. I'm the responsible person. Now I want to say very sincerely to you, Paul, and to you, Anna, but Paul, you have been the single most important intellectual force in my life. I knew that from the very first class that I took from you. It was clear that my life had changed and would change for years and years and years to come. And if there's anything that I have done that has been helpful in economics or in healthcare, all of it comes back directly to you, because you were the force that guided me and showed me the way, and you've always stayed behind me through thick and thin, through all the trials and tribulations, and we know what we're talking about. You are always there. So I appreciate that, and I just want to say to both of you and Anna and Paul, I love you very much, and thank you so much. And this business about retirement, I don't believe it.